So you can still do old school on LinkedIn and be successful using it to network as opposed to feeling the pressure, and Chris feels no pressure to expose himself on TikTok, but
No, of course not.
yeah, so I don't have to be creating content for it to be valuable
You
to
don't
me.
have to be creating content, but like, look, you have a podcast, so you have like content, you're creating content every single week, every single show, you have content. But you can do a lot by just engaging with people, commenting, using the direct messaging in a way that is not annoying and selling crap to people, because that also nobody likes that.
Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent to that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse through the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from hitting your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop.
Alan, I love that music. It gets me pumped up every single time.
Every time.
And you know what? I listen to it in the truck on the way over here to the studio, aka the basement. And I got myself all fired up with my rockin' stompin' blues, baby. Because why am I so fired up?
Why are you so fired up?
3-year anniversary. Alan,
That's unbelievable.
come on, man.
I know.
That is stupid that we've been doing this for 3 years. But that's another reason that you guys have all been listening. We've been picking up listeners progressively last year, especially.
Top 5%.
Yep, top 5. Pretty excited about that. And but more importantly, we're having a lot of great conversations with people, and people were asking to be on the show. Believe it or not, I get like 2 or 3 requests a week now, and that doesn't sound crazy.
Do you say like, we'll think about it, or I'll have my people call you?
You know, I lost my
You gotta
people.
play a little. You gotta play a little hard to get.
I did. I know. I need people because
Don't
I
seem
lost
so
my intern.
eager.
I'm like, please fill us up, fill us up. We need more. We need more. So no, man, we've had quite a journey, and we remember when we started with basically an iPhone in front of us,
Yep.
and 2 little microphones, and here we are with our fancy ass setup, with our big old power display where I can get myself louder and keep you quieter. I mean, get us all evened out correctly. You know,
There's like, how many buttons are on that thing? There's at least 50 buttons. How many of those do you know what actually any of them do?
3.5.
I'm gonna go under.
I agree. It's been good. Hey, we want to thank everybody for listening. You guys have been listening in. You're in your truck, you're driving, maybe you're taking a walk or something. We're going to try to edutain you guys again. Come on, adventure team. We got to get better at what we're doing each and every day. We're in the middle of the Olympic seasons to kind of timestamp this one. And it's been so fun to watch some of these different athletes perform that you never would watch, right? Handball. Did you know there's a speed rock climbing?
Yes, I saw that. That was insane. They were
Right.
like spider monkeys going up the wall.
That's
It was-
exactly right.
Yeah.
At first I went, oh, Pisha, this is not, oh my gosh, look at these little guys go. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. The sporting has been great. Watching these people practice for 4 years and get their craft perfected just for 15 seconds or 45 seconds. Or in some of these sprinters, of course, you watch some of these people and you're like, oh my gosh.
And there's a couple of people who've come completely out of left field. Nobody was expecting them to win. Did you see the guys 1500?
So I'm not a big runner. If
Really?
you've ever watched any of my Instagrams, I think you'll probably figure out why. But yeah, so I'm watching it, and this kid comes out of nowhere and wins, and I didn't know the results. And I mean, I came out of my couch, I was like, "Oh my God, way to go!"
Yeah.
And we got first and third.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah. So again, you get into it, you get excited, but it's just fun watching that competition, and you realize what they had to do to get there. And it's continually practicing and training and getting better at stuff at what they do and perfecting it. And this is their one time to shine. And I only focus on the ones that have done that, and I feel horrible for the ones that maybe fail or got hurt. Like I watched one guy pull up with a hammy.
Yeah. I saw a guy hit one of the bars on the steeplechase
Yeah.
and just went down. They had medical treatment.
Oh,
By the way, have you paid your power bill lately?
I have paid my power
It's a
bill.
little warm in here, don't you think?
Well, I'm trying to keep it warmed up in here. Is
Oh.
it really?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's okay. That's okay.
no, we
I'm
don't
gonna-
have to
I'm
do that.
gonna
Okay, so Alan's obviously going through, is that menopause? Do you have
Yeah,
that?
I'm having heat flashes, but I'm quenching my thirst with a nice bottle of bourbon here from our good friend Steve Beecham.
So let's prop that up. Beecham's
Yeah.
hometown bourbon whiskey.
Couple of great episodes, by the way. You need to listen to it. I know mortgage brokering doesn't sound exciting, and that's why we didn't talk about it at all. We talked about his traveling around the world in the quest of whiskey.
It was crazy. that we ended up doing 2 episodes with him because we didn't even touch mortgage broker in the beginning.
a
We
little
started
bit.
talking about, and what was funny is that through the emails that go out to people, I had 2 people respond and say, "Hey, didn't realize you were going to have people on who are in the spirit business." One says, "Hey, I've got one who does it." Another one said, "Hey, you had Steve on. He was really interesting. I've since pivoted and I want to come back on and talk about AI and how it impacts your business."
Oh, that would be really cool.
And all because of his episode talking about bourbon.
Well, and for those that haven't listened, you need to listen. And even if you're not into whiskey, he's just a great storyteller. And he dropped a couple of bombs. I mean, just from business standpoint, like how to grow your business through, get involved in local politics and stuff. But he mentioned he's got a bourbon barn in his backyard. And so I kind of invited myself over there just to see what it was all about. And it was a man cave like you wouldn't imagine. I mean, fireplace, all the animal heads on the wall, and then a collection of whiskey I've never seen. It was just fantastic. And so he took us around the world with here's a little bit of Japanese whiskey. We had Icelandic whiskey that instead of peat, they use sheep dung for the smoke. And yeah, so pretty
How appealing
fascinating.
does that sound? Yeah. I mean,
Well, he didn't tell us until after we drank it. Like, what do you taste? And I'm like, it's kind of grassy. And so is sheep dung. But anyway, he's got his own whiskey that was bottled for him. And the whiskey was made with the grains from Dave's Killer Bread, which is from my hometown of Portland. And so pretty exciting to have this bottle. So thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. That's a great. It's always better to have a story behind your bourbon, especially when you have it. But we have got to get to our guest.
Oh, we have a
Yes.
guest here.
Well, sometimes you got to connect the dots, Alan, and
Oh.
you are connecting them by doing them with Dave's Killer Bread, Steve Beecham doing this. You're going around the world. It's all about connecting dots, though. I mean, don't you
Did you
agree?
see how you did that?
You like
Rachel?
a
What a
huh?
pro.
He's been doing this for like, I don't know, 4 months
3
now.
years.
No.
3
He didn't
years.
do it for the first 2 years, but yeah, he's
I'm
you got
perfecting my
you
craft.
got the dad jokes down.
Oh, come on! I thought that was a good lead-in.
It was great.
Thank you, Rachel. We have Rachel Simon from the Connect the Dots Digital, who is a specialist in LinkedIn and other things, but also is a fellow podcaster. And
She has a radio show. Is that
Oh, I'm
technically a podcast?
And
Or?
it comes out on Apple Podcasts and other podcast things. So sure.
All right.
I mean,
she's a seasoned radio personality.
that's me.
And she's in a real studio, not your basement.
That's correct. But we have more bourbon than her studio.
Yes, that is true. Also a fan of Dave's Killer Bread
Yeah.
and Olympic Junkie.
Olympics. All right. So what is your what's fun for you in the 4 years?
I mean, I can't get enough of the swimming and gymnastics is my favorite. My daughter was did club swim for years, so I went to 10 million swim meets.
Oh boy.
And like she got to meet Caleb Dressel in 2018.
Oh, wow.
At like he did like a clinic for her club team, and that was I was like had to go back and find the picture of him
There's
with
been
her.
a lot of great swimmers at University of Georgia.
So many, yeah. And it's been like that's just so much fun to watch. But like I did see the clip of the speed climbing, and that was bonkers.
Yeah.
Like when I was like, what did I just see?
Right.
But the track, I don't know, it's just all fun. I love all the emotion of it and like how hard they work. And
There was a 51-year-old guy that competed in skateboarding today and had no chance of winning, but he actually nailed 2 routines. And I think he finished 18th or 20th or something. But Tony Hawk is in the crowd just going nuts because this guy's still out there just
That's
giving it his
awesome.
all. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and so what's been so fun about this the Olympics here is that I'm actually enjoying the Snoop Dogg stuff.
oh my God, he's amazing.
I can't get enough of it. And then they're starting to discredit it now, like, they're paying him all this money. I'm
Who
like,
cares?
good, keep it going because I'm actually
He's
looking
having
for that.
fun.
He is, and he makes it fun.
Yeah.
And you watch these people come up, and he's become what I think he's the Team USA mascot.
I don't know.
My friend sent me a meme yesterday that was like, I had to put my glasses on because I can't see. I didn't know how we got here, but in the year 2024, the 2 most wholesome people on television are Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav.
There we go. Right. So I heard that as well. Is that
What?
if you had gone into a coma in 1994 and woke up and you're like, what is going on? That Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav and Flav was doing, he sponsored the women's polo.
Water polo,
Water polo.
but nobody was having more fun at the gymnastics than Flav.
Do you have what it takes to start your own business? Are you tired of the 9 to 5 corporate job and ready to make that leap into entrepreneurship? You need to check out From the Zoo to the Wild, the book by successful entrepreneur Chris Lalomia. This book is a unique perspective on the journey into the wild world of home services and delivering excellence in service while working in customers' homes. Lalomia shares his path to success in this industry, including proven customer relationship strategies, award-winning customer experience processes, and a unique approach to training a team of service technicians to perform at the highest levels. Whether you're a small business trying to scale or a franchise operation, From the Zoo to the Wild will give you the mindset, habits, leadership style, and customer-oriented processes to succeed as a small business owner in the world of home services. So if you're ready to take control of your future, get a copy of From the Zoo to the Wild today, available on Amazon.
It's just hilarious, but it's so much fun to watch these guys go running around doing that stuff, and then Alan and I are big into golf, and you watch Scotty Scheffler, who's made $27 million this year. He won the Olympics. He's literally crying on the podium. He won $37,000.
It's just something
it's not
about the
money.
Olympics. It's just so meaningful to these athletes, even the, the professional, even if you're a pro or whatever, or like Simone Biles has won so many medals, but every medal is meaningful.
Oh, and
Yeah.
LeBron James is like found the fountain of youth. I mean, he's just going nuts in
Yeah.
basketball. It's amazing.
It's just great. I
the whole
love
thing.
it.
Yeah, the whole thing. I love the countries. In fact, my new favorite guy is the shooter from Turkey.
Oh, yeah.
The pistol shooting with one hand in his pocket, and he picked it up because he going through a divorce and had to learn how to. He just had to get some aggression out. I'm like, But
Yeah.
he looks like he was a hitman who was hired to come, and they're like, "Here's your hit," and it's a target.
Yeah.
It wasn't somebody. He was like, "All right, just show me where to go."
But the thing about the Olympics that I also love is like there are just so many lessons, like life lessons, business lessons. I did a post on LinkedIn last week about Pommel Horse Guy,
Oh,
right? And
Superman.
how like sometimes you need to bring in a specialist. I mean, it's very rare. You would think it's unusual that they put on the 5-man team somebody who has one skill. That's it. But they needed a specialist, right? So I wrote a post about how sometimes you need to think about to get your business to the next level. What is that specialist that you need to hire? Whether that's like a coach, someone with financial, specific financial skills, whatever the case may be. But like, so I love pulling those life lessons out of
Yeah,
what we're
great call.
watching.
Yeah, you're right. That was such a great one too. I loved how he was doing the visualization.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's doing that. So I actually did that with my sales team. I said, like the Pommel Horse guy, you guys are visualizing, you got to be visualizing your sale. And my guys perhaps aren't built like he was. And so I made them all get up and do the hula like he did, and like they're pommeling. It was hilarious. Yeah.
But a lot of these athletes also are like they're using techniques like to get in the right mindset of journaling, again, visualizing, positive self-talk, really working on their mindset, their mental health, and understanding that there's like they can have all the physical skill in the world, but if they don't have the mental piece dialed in, they're not going to be successful.
Well, what blows my mind is you work so hard for something 4 years in the future, and then maybe you don't make the team, or maybe you make the team and then you get injured, or you hit the hurdle and fall down, and then you've got to wait 4 more years. I mean, the perseverance in this is unbelievable. You're right. There are a ton of great business lessons.
Yeah, grit, perseverance,
Mhm.
specialization, bringing in the right person to do the thing. Yeah, I mean, again, you can pull so many out of these. I Jones on it too. I enjoy it. I know there's been some negativity around it, as there is with all the Olympics. I think some people have forgotten that every 4 years they're like, "Well, it's never been this divisive." I'm like, well, yeah, actually, every 4 years it pretty much is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just ignore that crap and go back to the athletes who are there doing the thing, man. And that's been the best. I love the opening ceremony. I mean, Celine Dion
Oh my God.
singing. I'm
That
proud.
was
Talk about perseverance. I
epic.
mean, amazing. Lady Gaga, amazing. I didn't watch all of it because I kind of tuned in and out, but there was some weird stuff, but it's cool. It
It's
was
France.
very French.
Right.
Ooh la
do.
la.
Oh la la. So I said, I was saying to myself, if the media would just leave it alone, I would never would have known it happened. And I watched it, but I did the same thing. I tuned in and out. I saw something I didn't like.
Well, the one thing I'm like, all right, you're trying to bring the world together. That's your theme, and then you just kind of piss off a third of it.
You did a good job of that.
Yeah,
I didn't,
nice
but
job.
like I said, I moved on. I went to the positive. I'm going to Celine.
Celine was great.
And I still wanted to see one of the smaller countries coming across like in a raft with rowing down that Seine. That would have been a winner. Like that would have been the best. Cameroon with their 5 guys or whatever.
That night, Celine was amazing, but I just was so moved by the 100-year-old French athlete with the torch in his hand in the wheelchair right before they lit the cauldron.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps with that.
So I know we're talking about the Olympics, but back to the business lessons. What I've enjoyed too is they're putting up the iconic Olympic moments in some of these commercials, and I have to say, for me, it's always been the Muhammad Ali lighting of the torch in Atlanta. I wasn't even living here, and they keep showing that. And I went, yeah. I mean that. I mean,
It was so moving. I mean, I remember that. Like, I don't think anybody who watched that could forget,
Mm-mm.
how amazing that was and how meaningful that was. And I wasn't living here yet either, but
yeah. So that's been great. All right, let's get into some business lessons, shall
Yeah.
we? Or let's keep telling stories because that's what
No,
we listen
no,
to.
I am actually really excited to hear what she has to say today. Because when Chris and I first signed up for LinkedIn, I think we sent our messages via Telegraph, right?
So when we first started on LinkedIn, I think we had to do the smoke signals and then click
Yeah.
rocks and then Morse code.
That's right.
so
We clapped coconuts.
do you know what
together.
year you joined?
When did it start?
2004.
Which I can't believe it's only 20 years old.
2004.
Yeah.
I've been on there since it started.
Since it
'cause
started.
I was
Okay.
in, yeah.
2005, I think, for me.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't join until like 2010. And what's funny is
Late
that
adopter.
I was a
Yeah.
late adopter.
Little baby.
I was
little
a late
puppy.
adopter.
Yeah.
What is funny
Coming out of high school at the time.
is that no, I definitely wasn't. I a Facebook memory came up around that time and it said, I just joined LinkedIn. Somebody tell me what the heck I'm doing on this platform. And I thought it was so hilarious when I saw that. I saw it maybe like a year ago and I did a LinkedIn post about it and was like, oh, how the times have changed.
I remember
Like,
I went to classes for it. And I mean, at the time, it was, professional networking. It was kind of a way to put your resume online.
it was really job search.
It was job search. And then I heard, 99% of all recruiters use LinkedIn. And you fast forward to today, and it's kind of like we got the Facebookification of LinkedIn. It's a lot about content. And
Yes.
so I'm kind of curious how somebody like me who kind of still would like to use it just for, professional networking, how do I navigate these waters now?
Yeah, so I think what's important now is to think about LinkedIn as it's a networking tool. So, too many people, and I hear this all the time, like, oh, I don't need to be there until I need a job. But we need to be networking all the time because you don't know when your current job may not be your job anymore, or you might be like, I don't want to be here anymore. So we can't let our networking collect dust and then be like, oh crap, I need to brush this stuff off and get with the program here. So I really challenge people to rethink about what this platform is. It is a networking tool. So all the things that we do when we network fall under that broad umbrella. And over the last couple of years, yes, it has changed a lot. It has gotten a lot more personal. People are sharing more. That definitely like zoop during the pandemic, but because we were all lonely and sad and stuck at home and people were finding community on LinkedIn, it's level setted to a certain extent.
I just find a community in the wine
Yeah.
bottle
I kind of enjoyed
or three.
being alone for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But like
what you did, I was going absolutely insane.
the extroverts were like really miserable.
I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to choose between 3 things to do tonight.
All right. I was like, where are my 3 things? I need 3 more things. And I went on Zoom. I actually went on a drinking Zoom
Did
where we
you
actually
really?
we had a cocktail hour. I'm like, I'm right there,
Oh,
man.
lots of people did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Zoom happy hours. Yeah.
All right. So, but back to LinkedIn. Did it start to find its growth then, or do you think it started to evolve in identity?
it's always been growing. I mean, obviously now it's like over 1 billion users. That's their current stat. Like they hit 1 billion users last year. Like I was saying, it kind of like got a little heavy on the Facebooky posts
Hmm.
during the pandemic, but it's definitely like kind of level setted now.
Have
But
you found that people have self-reported on that? I mean, like people come in and like hit a political post or hit a too
Ugh.
personal post, and people like, hey, shut that down.
Yeah.
That's not for here. Have
I
you
mean,
noticed that?
I'm going to recommend never talk about politics on LinkedIn unless your job is politics. Like, because it's just a tough topic to talk about on social media in general. And
Right.
I feel like on LinkedIn, we want to kind of position ourselves to be as broad appealing as we possibly can, right? So
And professional.
And professional.
And to me, that's not professional. And I'm seeing a lot of posts where I'm like, man, this is, I'm getting annoyed
Yeah.
by them.
But you can also, there's a setting, and I don't know exactly, you know, there's just a million things you can have in the settings, but there is a setting where you can turn off political content. So like it will, I haven't turned off on mine because I'm just not interested in seeing it.
Is there any way I can just like have that whole bubble follow me like in my day, like on the radio, watching TV, driving,
Right.
can't see the bumper sticker.
I wish, right?
Yeah, right. I'm like, so I just heard back to we got to talk about this for a minute. So I just saw this, read this article. 60% of millennials and the younger generation want the race to be over. I'm like, so pretty much that's underreported, and you don't even have to do that. I said, I'm right now thinking like 85% of us, especially if you don't make money off these things, want it to be over.
Yeah.
But the 15% of us who make money off running the ads and doing this and doing that and raising money or whatever, they want it. The rest of us, can we be done tomorrow?
Yeah.
'Cause
So
I'm-
if only there was a setting for all things,
yeah.
but there's not.
Go
So,
back to LinkedIn.
yeah. So
I found that people that done this though really get outed. I watched people's comments saying, "Hey, wrong place, wrong place."
oh, I've seen
And,
crazy stuff. I mean, stuff where people for sure got fired for things that they said or comments, this, that, and the other. So it's always just like, just don't do stupid things on there because people are watching. Your employers potentially are seeing what you're saying. So, you know, going back to kind of like the way that people are using the platform and again, the personal posts, there is a level of it where it is very helpful because we think about when you're meeting somebody, you want to find that continuity, something you have in common. So you start a conversation. You don't generally go to a networking event and like launch right into like a deep business conversation. You're like, oh, hey, what you drinking? Did you watch the Olympics? What's your favorite sport? Like you're easing in with small talk. And so when we can kind of have some thing to use as a conversation starter in either in our profile, in our content, it's very helpful for people to kind of like know how to kick off interacting with
So
us.
you can still do old school on LinkedIn and be successful using it to network as opposed to feeling the pressure, you know, and Chris feels no pressure to expose himself on TikTok, but you know,
No, of course not.
Yeah. So I don't have to be creating content for it to be valuable.
You don't
Continue.
have to be creating content, but like, look, you have a podcast, so you have like content, you're creating content every single week, every single show, you have content. But you can do a lot by just engaging with people, commenting, you know, using the direct messaging in a way that is not annoying and selling crap to people, because that also nobody likes that.
All right, let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, seriously, I cannot open LinkedIn each day and not have at least one. Hey, Chris, noticed your profile. And I love it when they're completely way off, but it's like, hey, you need business funding. Hey, are you looking to exit your business? Hey, do you want to grow your business? I'm like, no, not with you. I mean, but the answer, yes, yes, and yes. With you, no, no, no. I mean, stop sending me these messages. So why are we doing that?
It's just a lot of bad, like, guidance on, you know, spaghetti at the wall. Like, oh, if you just throw it at people, somebody's going to say yes. So if you hit 100 people with a crappy message and one person responds to say, yes, please help me, then that's successful.
Then it worked.
But I always say, because I push back on people when I get those messages sometimes, and I'm like, but you're pissing 99 people off. Like, so what happens in a year when I actually do need the service that you're providing, but I go back and I see I had a bad experience engaging because you were spamming me and you wouldn't take no for an answer. I'm going to go to somebody else who has a better way of like engaging with me.
I mean, we've never just, well, I shouldn't say we. I think all of us people listening to this podcast, you're trying to get yourself smarter, better at what you do. You're not just going to take this blind solicitation, this piece of mail in your mailbox and go, oh, wow, this Nigerian prince needs $1 million. I'm
Right.
going to send him 3,000 and he'll give me $1 million back. No, I mean, we're just not going to respond to that.
No.
But back to your point on that, they get a couple and they win.
Yeah. So I mean, one person, like, again, I had this whole back and forth with this one guy, financial planner, and he's like, well, I close business like this. I'm like, but you're alienating people. Like, people are, you're not giving you're ruining your reputation with some people. So, okay, great. You close 2 deals, but 200 people are like, ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. Yes, you know, so let's talk about best practices.
Sure.
So I'm just getting started, or I've got one, and it's kind of dormant, not really doing much with it. What are the first things they should do to get it set up?
Yeah. So number one is you need to make sure your profile is updated and really clearly showcasing who you are, what you do, why you do it, and
How
who you do
often
it
should
for.
Chris update his photo?
Your picture needs to look like you do in the real world.
So I might date myself a little bit here, but I think my glamour shot looks really good. Okay. I mean, I have my perm going. I got the eyelashes
Do you have
going.
a boa
He's got the
on?
I got my boa. Yeah, I've updated it, haven't I?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Well, I
I
have.
did. I did with my last headshot,
Yeah.
which I did 2 years ago.
Okay, good. So that's good.
I'm as bald as I was as
Right.
bald then
Once you-
as I
when you
am
go
now.
bald, I don't think you have to update
Right.
it.
I think we're good.
I've heard every excuse in the book for why people don't want to change their picture. And it's really important that your photo looks like you do in the real world, because it's kind of weird when you do actually meet somebody that you're connected to, and either on Zoom or in person, and you're like, that's
funny you
what
say
you
it.
look like.
So a lot of guys lately have been growing facial hair, and I just met this guy, and then I linked in with him. I'm like, am I linking in with the right guy? And
It's a
I was
little harder with facial hair because, like, you may have a beard or mustache for a couple months and then shave it. It's more of like, maybe again, you had more hair and now don't have hair, or for,
hypothetical.
women, they
Yeah.
decided to like let their hair go gray. A lot of people let their hair go gray during the pandemic because we couldn't get to the salon or whatever.
I
But
feel your pain.
but if the
sister.
picture, but if your
was the
picture
worst.
is still with like your color hair, but you don't have that hair color anymore, like you got to change it, right? I mean, I had to change mine because I had cut my hair really, really short in 2019, and then over 5 years grew it out. So I can't have a picture with short hair when I don't have short hair anymore.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So profile picture.
Profile picture,
All
right. Yeah.
Good. Your profile ought to be where you're at, what you're doing, who
Correct.
you are, and what you do.
And it needs to be written for your customer and your client. So
And
nobody.
everybody has a customer or client.
Yes.
Yep. Even if you're thinking about starting a business and you're in the business world and you're thinking, I'm going to start my own business. I'm watching a great guy do this right now. His name is Ken Visiana, and we work together at SunTrust, and he's created this brand name of Visiana Data. Yet he works for Fiserv, or one of them. I mean, he works for a big company, but he's created his own brand. So I got him on the phone. I'm like, Ken, I love what you're doing with this stuff, man. And he goes, yeah. And it's actually got me involved in different groups. He's on a board of some things. He's helping to give back, but his company is letting him help promote himself.
That's amazing.
And
That's great.
And with no designs to start his own business, quote, quote, wink, wink. Don't sir, Fiserv doesn't listen to this shit anyway. So screw you. But no, he didn't. He didn't say he
So
wanted
much
to.
for their sponsorship, Chris.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they're gone. Anyway.
Yeah, but
You learn anything about alienating people?
too often people are writing their profile like it's their resume. And
This is a good point, because that's kind of the way we did it.
right. But it is ultimately an opportunity for you to articulate the pain point that your customer or client has and how you can help solve that problem. So I always like to say, so many people start off with like seasoned executive with 15 years of experience doing blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do you really care if
Thanks, you just
somebody
said
has, but do you really care if somebody has
Uh-oh,
15,
awkward.
20, or 25 years of experience?
Nobody
You
does.
care about, do they understand my problem and can they solve it?
That's a great. Oh my God, that's so awesome. She said that because in the home services world, one of the things we do know is that when you say Chris has been in business for 16 years, guess what Mrs. Homeowner cares about? Not that at all. Could care less.
I would take issue with that.
All the data
really?
suggests that it does not matter. if
So
they've been in business for
Mrs. Karen
Yeah, Karen. Let's go, Karen.
Karen
Yes.
could care less. You could be some fly by night who just started
This
last
does
week.
not differentiate me from my competition. What differentiates me is my process and my people, not how long
And
I've been doing it.
probably like
Karen's
I'm
an
sure
idiot.
in that kind of very like customer centric business, it's about, the experience the customer has in
Yeah.
getting in touch, how fast can you get somebody to their home, whatever the case may be. But like, it's more of, do I want to work with somebody who's got one year of experience? Maybe I want a little bit more information,
Let's
somebody,
say it's
but
I'm gonna do
a
that after-
surgeon. I need a surgeon,
he's brand new.
and he's
He's-
brand new.
Well, he's got to work on somebody's heart first.
Yeah,
Alan. Why
that's
not
right.
yours?
My point is more that I can see that further into your profile. I don't need that to be the lead. I need the lead to
Good
be
point.
that you understand my main problem and then you have a solution for me.
So your LinkedIn profile, dynamite. So let's go check it out. Pump that real quick.
Oh, you can just find me Rachel Simon. I don't know what the actual URL, you'll put it in the show notes or something.
I will.
Yeah.
For sure. So there's not that many Rachel Simons out there.
There's not, and I have like big red curly hair, so I'm pretty easy to spot.
That's
Um,
now that's a calling card. I would say Rachel, the girl with the big red curly hair.
There you
That's-
go.
That's
Yeah.
very unique. But anyway, so who else has? I mean, when you look at some people who are doing it the right way, are there some other people we should look at?
I mean, there's a lot of people that do a really good job. I could tell you all of my clients because I've helped them write their profiles and they're all looking great.
Let's pump them too.
So one of my favorites is a gentleman who's up in the Boston area. He works for he's actually in Cleveland, but his company is in Boston. His name's Michael Collins. He's a nonprofit executive, super cool guy, very smart. We had a lot of fun writing his profile. I've gotten, to work with lots of interesting people from just a wide variety of industries. And that's one thing that is really fun is, I am helping professionals from, again, the nonprofit space, from healthcare, from like, I helped one guy who worked in like quant something. I mean, I didn't even know what the heck this guy did. It was so incredibly niche in this like specific kind of investing, but I didn't need to understand the industry because I'm helping him convey it to his audience and he knew what he needed to say. So I just helped facilitate him getting that out in a way that
How
made
about that?
sense.
So she made a quant jock sound sexy and interesting to people out there.
Totally.
So you actually say, because I used to work with these guys.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, well, I used to work with quants or they're quantitative analysts, and they do a lot of number crunching and everything else that goes on. But they not the most interesting people unless you get them on their subject.
Yeah.
And then it better be interesting to you because they're not going to stop.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So you just made him sexy.
But-
That's like making Oppenheimer. I mean, everybody's like, I can't believe that was the most boring movie. I didn't like it. I'm like, as a mechanical engineer who kind of a geek who grew up around the nuclear field, I was like, oh, dude, I think that whole movie made engineering and science so sexy.
that was a great movie.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are, I bored, I slept. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, well, of course I was into it, but they made it interesting for people who didn't have to learn all those equations.
Exactly. I mean, my son, who I think he must have been a senior. When did it come out? Like last year? He
2 years
played,
ago.
2 years
yeah.
ago.
So he was a senior in high school, and he came home and he was like, "This was the best movie.
Yeah.
You got to go see it."
Is he going to school for science?
No, he wants to be an accounting major. He goes to Georgia.
Okay, well, go dogs.
Oh,
Go
thank
Dogs.
Thank God
Huh?
for that.
Two-time national champion.
Go
Huh?
Dogs.
Maybe beat Oregon here.
We need more accountants.
Yes, we do.
We
We do.
need a lot more accountants.
Do we really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a real accounting shortage.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not
It's
know
like
that.
a sharp drop off.
Yeah. So when he came and told us that, we were like, "Yes,
Oh, cha-ching. He'll be
Sweet.
so good forever.
please,
Yeah.
please."
Really?
He can even be just like mediocre and he'll be amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that there. Hey, you should be his business. You should be his development coach. Hey,
So-
kid, Rachel's
You
son.
can-
Mediocre is
you
good
just-
enough.
Just be
Don't listen to your
mediocre.
parents. You
Yeah.
just be mediocre, okay, big
Just-
guy? You could do it.
You go get him.
No,
Thanks,
Go
Alan.
get him.
no
Thanks, his mom.
aspirations, no goals. Just
So-
show up. I promise you, it'll
You'll-
all work
you'll
out.
be fine.
Where is the mediocre business coach and life coach? Everyone's all, huh?
It's right here the whole time.
Here he is. I think you got a new ditch.
So
Niche. I love it.
speaking of accountants, so I actually did a training for an accounting firm yesterday at Lunch and Learn because, professional services is one of those areas where these people, accountants, attorneys, different kinds of consultants, they have a specialized area of expertise, but they're expected to build a book of business. And that's very difficult.
Mhm.
That's so different than the accounting mindset. I mean, could you just imagine Ellen, your wife, Judy, has to go out there and find her own clients, talk to them, get them to go with her, and she has to tell everybody how smart she is, even though because she, one, would never tell you how smart she is. But think about that. That's a totally different. I mean, that's
No, I find her clients all the time. It's really funny.
Right.
Yeah, she doesn't like doing that.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
really hard. And so this training I did yesterday was just getting the team to see that, they can use a platform like LinkedIn again to build their profiles, have their firm's branding infused in, because it really does, it's important to have your branding there so people can kind of associate you with your company, understand who you're connected to, because they may have potential clients, referral partners in their network that they just forgot about, because you're not going to see everybody, because algorithms only showing you what it wants to show you at any given time. And then think about, yes, content creation. And love to all the accountants out there, but I'm not sure that like writing LinkedIn posts is necessarily top of your list of what you want to be doing. But even small things, like instead of just clicking repost on content from the company page, just add a little commentary. There was a post that they did about acknowledging their interns. And I was like, take this and just talk about your experience when you were an intern, or give a shout out to an intern, like something to personalize it. Because ultimately, they can use some of these strategies to start to build relationships with people, because we know that you don't get business from people that you don't have a relationship with. You got to start from that good rapport, build that trust, and then the business eventually comes. So it's really important to embrace LinkedIn as that platform that can help support those business goals.
So I have a question. Compared to other people who are in the social media space, Chris can hire somebody to help him with Facebook and TikTok and stuff. It's a lot easier for them to measure success, measure ROI. How do you, because there's not call to actions. You're not asking for, I mean, it's actually kind of toxic to be overtly asking
Yeah.
for business.
good question.
It is a really good question.
On our anniversary, 3 years. Finally took Chris 3 years to
So
say,
Rachel, I know you're married, so I'm sure you don't keep score in your relationship, but we do, and I'm down 1-0.
Okay, there you go.
Great question, but I can't wait to hear this.
It is a
answer.
great question. It's really challenging. Actually, that came up yesterday in this lunch and learn, because it's hard to measure, right? It's hard to have like hard and fast numbers that say, do this and this, you're going to post 3 times and send 15 connection requests, and you're going to close 6 new deals or whatever. A lot of it's anecdotal. And so it kind of is, one of the us partners kind of challenged me a little bit. And he's like, back in my day, in the old days, I used to go to networking events, and everything was in person and this, that, and the other. And, and the reality is that what would have happened to his business if he hadn't been going to those networking events, right? You don't get business if people don't know who you are and you don't show up, because it's very easy to be forgotten. Same thing applies on LinkedIn. It's so easy to fall off someone's radar. But if you can consistently remind people that you exist, and that's how I like to kind of coach my clients, of just be like, here I am. Hello. This is me. I talk about this specific topic. That's what I want you to think about when you think of me. When that need comes up, you become top of mind, and they're going to reach out to you. So it's very anecdotal, but like, I like to say, you're doing a good job, especially if you're creating content. If you go to Publix or Trader Joe's, and someone's like, I see your stuff on LinkedIn all the time, and they've never ever engaged with your content, that's winning.
well, and there's other quantitative. I mean, just the fact that you help somebody get their profile fleshed out, accurate. They're not focusing on how many years of experience, but that they're cool and interesting. And then, okay, if your goal is to ask for 15 new connections a week, I mean, there's
You
things
can
like
track
that. You can track
You
that.
can track profile views and content engagement and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's harder to kind of draw the line between doing these and closing business. The closing business happens kind of in the way closing business usually happens. You might hear
it's
from
still
somebody.
a hard ROI. I mean,
Yeah.
to figure it out and draw that line or connect the dots. Like,
Ha ha,
thank you.
nice. But it's really of like, what is the cost of not showing up?
So again, it's your time because we don't want to get to that, but I started. I was on LinkedIn. Was on LinkedIn when I was at the bank. Started the Trusted Toolbox and went. I'm never going to sell stuff on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
But yet, when I post out on LinkedIn, what do I get? I'm like, oh, Chris, I remember when you were at the bank. Can you have one of your guys come out and talk to us? You're like, oh my God, there you go. Or hey, love to see what you're doing. It's like you said, top of mind. You're there. So, but it's a hard. I mean, could I sit there because I do that? I track all my advertising and my C2B, my B2C business that I'm in. If I put out $50,000 in marketing, I expect to get, well, in my world, I expect to get 9x return and 10 if I can do it right, 150,000 in total revenue, or it's not paying for itself. I can't do that with LinkedIn.
You
Hmm.
can't do it directly, but it's one of those. Again, I'm going to go back to the accounting example. So let's say accountant, A, gets their profile in order, kind of goes through their connections, identifies somebody who is in their target market that they forgot about, reaches out to them a message to be like, hey, it's been ages since we connected. What's going on? Like, what's new with you? And starts that conversation. And that ultimately can turn into a new client.
Yeah, so it's relational versus transactional.
Correct.
That's the hard part.
It is. And it
it's a
requires
relational.
patience.
Yeah.
Big time patience.
It's like putting a billboard up in the middle of Atlanta and hoping that everybody's going to call you.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen like that.
Well, and the thing is it's free, and you don't have to be particularly clever to post content, as you might need to be on TikTok. You got to stand on your head and take your shirt off, right, Chris?
I've heard.
Yeah.
And I did not stand on my head. Thank you. All right.
Thank God for
Please.
that.
I know.
Yeah, it's a different.
Gravity would be
Oh,
it's right there, my
no.
friend.
It's a different approach.
Freaking
And there was
science experiment right there.
every year Edelman, a consulting firm, does a study on like the value of thought leadership in B2B, as far as B2B companies are concerned. And like more and more B2B purchasers are like thought leadership is very important in their buying decisions. So they want to be working with companies, with executives, with leaders who are thought leaders, who have that, trending knowledge in their industry. And so we have to be building and creating and sharing that thought leadership. And
Yeah.
people are going to LinkedIn specifically to find it. So it's really, I don't believe in particularly in, well, really any professional space. So there's lots of B2C on LinkedIn, but in the B2B space, which is what I focus on, you got to be there. You just can't opt out.
All right. So how often should you be there on LinkedIn? Again, I'm talking to my accountants, my introverts.
You should be looking at the app daily just to check your notifications. You don't want to miss anything.
10 minutes.
5 minutes, 10 minutes. Check it out in the morning where you're drinking coffee or whatever. I like to say
Whatever.
you drink in the morning.
I got 30 minutes for that.
I do too.
or whatever.
I always like to encourage people, maybe you're better off scrolling LinkedIn. I don't know. There's some inside joke thing happening here.
There is. Rachel's not. Yeah,
It's
Rachel's
just
not
fine.
enjoying your humor.
Yeah.
Sorry. We think we're funny, especially after a bourbon. All right. So check it every day, 5 to 10 minutes.
It's refilling his glass.
Or in Al's case, when he's really busy for 30 minutes after a cup of coffee. Okay.
We're LinkedIn expert in a week.
You'll be the 10,000-hour guy.
That's right.
Be an expert.
10,000 hours, just saying.
Anywho, so get in the habit of looking at it daily. And then I encourage people, if you can take the challenge, to try to post once a week.
Once a week. All right. So there you go. Post once a week. But also, I've heard you could reshare somebody else's and make a comment.
Add your
That's kind of lame, right?
No, I mean, it's whatever. It's better than nothing. I wouldn't just hit reshare, like repost, because it's like a retweet.
I just got done saying I'm resharing, and you said that's lame. I'm doing it.
he's doing something.
But I thought it was
Did you connect those dots?
I connected those dots.
Yeah.
Thank you. Look at you. Thank you.
I would encourage you to at least add a little bit of perspective as far as like why you're sharing it. What
Yeah.
is it that you found to be interesting, or like put your perspective into it. And then spend some time commenting. So commenting is like such a powerful way to engage with people, because again, it is getting you seen, because you'll notice when you're looking at the news feed, you will see like Chris commented on blah blah blah. Like it's a good way to practice content because you have to put a little thought. You can be a little looser in it, a little more casual, have some fun with comments. You don't have to engage. You can find content that you find is like fun and interesting. And if you can drop a few comments a week, great. Like engage with your target market if you can find them.
And everything you just said, I mean, total time commitment in a week. I mean, less than an hour.
Oh, less than an hour. Yeah. I like to encourage, like suggest spend 5 to 10 minutes a couple times a day. Just take a peek at it. Like, I know I'm on it all the time, but that's what I do.
But that's your business.
professionally. Yeah.
All right. I got to get to this one though. This one's killing me. So LinkedIn, owned by Microsoft.
Yes.
So they're not quite Amazon or Google anymore, but wow. They're all big. There is not anything but $0 or $1 million if you want to join for the professional thing, whatever that number is. I don't care. Whatever it is, it's a number I will not do. So I'm still free. So what does the best one? I mean, if you want to pay for it, what does that get you?
Yeah. So there's a few different like upgrades. The top one of those is Sales Navigator. And that is definitely if you are like doing business development and you're like, you have to think about what is the value of a new customer to you. So even if the value of a new customer is $5,000 or whatever, you're going to get that money back with Sales Navigator. So it is like $99 a month. I mean, it's not inexpensive, but again, it is what's great about it is has a very dynamic search functionality. You can save searches. You can really like add notes, tag people. I mean, it's so much better than the free search that we get on LinkedIn itself. It was a separate platform that they purchased. So it's like it kind of sits outside of LinkedIn. And then you can always just upgrade to premium. I don't feel like for the price difference, premium does that much for you. The value that you get from just the premium upgrade is two things. One is last year they made this stupid change that you can if you have a free account, you're limited to like 5 to 10 personalized connection requests per month, which is really dumb.
That's one word. That's not the word I use.
I
but
think it's
okay.
extremely short-sighted.
Thank you. Even better. See, you're so much more eloquent than me. Yeah, I was. I'm going a little bit more on the crude side.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any
Assholes.
sense because
Mhm.
they're always talking about like, building relationships and this, that, and the other. And then you're taking this easy tool for people to use away because they just want to make money. And that's the
But
reality. Sorry,
if-
LinkedIn, don't
No,
get mad
hey,
at me.
Rachel Simon, LinkedIn expert. She loves LinkedIn. She loves Microsoft. So we're going on the record to say that. Now, Chris is on the record saying if you just offered a $10 a month program for a few more messages, I might buy.
Yeah,
You get $120 from me and I'm free. And I got a feeling there's like a million more of me. like that.
probably. Yeah. So,
So make some money, Microsoft. Don't be an idiot.
yeah. I mean, even if you if they
Asshole.
monetized it where you could buy a bulk of personalized messages, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but whatever. I don't run the show. If only I did.
Well,
um,
maybe on this platform we get a chance.
Maybe.
Just gonna check and see if you've already been deleted.
I probably just got
Got thrown in
banned.
LinkedIn jail.
Oh, let me tell you about
Your
Facebook.
account is under
Yeah.
review.
Yeah. Sometimes
I'm
it
on
like
jail,
it
by the way.
doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't load, and I'm like, did they throw me in jail? Like, oh no. But the other thing that premium gets you, that obviously like all the premium upgrades get you as well, is you can see who's viewed your profile,
Mm.
and that can be really helpful. If you have a free account, you can only see like the last 5, but like I can see way back, and
So you purchased the premium
I have Sales Navigator
and
yeah.
Sales Navigator. Okay.
Well, like you get Sales Navigator's the top, so it's like you think you get everything that like
So
all the-
premium's not the top.
No. And
it's
that's
the
still
middle.
and premium still is what was that number again?
I think it's like $49 a month. I'm not really sure. They
Like
changed up
$600 a year.
something like that.
I'm like, no, find a number in the middle. Like you find 120, maybe $300. I probably would have done
I
it.
think if they
But
had
$600, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
I
Man,
have
'cause I
a
just don't do it that much.
I think if they had like a 250 option, a lot of people would go
All
for
right, so
that.
Rachel Simon is a LinkedIn expert, Microsoft. As you guys pick this up on your AI, she says go to 250, please, and she will always support you and she loves you. Chris, on the other hand, don't ban me. Just don't ban me.
It's Chris at
I-
thetrustedtoolbox.com.
Yeah, don't ban me.
It's
please.
terrifying when you think you got kicked off, man. It's horrible.
It is, right? Oh yeah. No, my long story short, our Google business profile got suspended
Oof.
for nothing. I mean, my Google business profile for the Trusted Toolbox gets about 12,000 views a month. Yeah, and it got banned.
Oh, geez.
Guess who you get to talk to at Google?
Nobody.
They're
Same.
I don't think they have anybody.
How long did it take you to fix it?
It all of a sudden 3 days later it came back on. We filed a
So-
complaint with Joseph, my social media guy. They didn't acknowledge they got the complaint. They didn't acknowledge that we put it in. And 3 days later, it was put back in. We asked why. We never got an answer.
And so the same thing happens. I think all the social media platforms, there's no actual customer service like person. So like you cannot physically get somebody on the phone. LinkedIn, if you get kicked off, it's so hard to contact them. I mean, it is extremely difficult to even know who to contact. So don't do things to get yourself kicked off, like use automation tools and stuff.
Oh, no, bring that up. So no AI, Chris.
So what explain this automation tool, and we're coming to the end. We're starting to run out
I
of time.
know.
This is so good. All right.
So in the LinkedIn user agreement, and honestly, like, I don't know how many people actually read user agreements for anything.
I just click accept or
So exactly. So
This is why I actually own Alan's house. We did some work at his house, and he just accepted my user agreement.
it's like, yeah.
I didn't
Yes.
even know that.
And so now I have his mortgage. But anyway, okay.
In the user agreement, one of the rules is that you cannot use anything that is going to take actions on your behalf. So there's lots of tools out there that are going, this is where you get those crappy messages, because that's not actually a person sending them. It's a like automation tool that is,
I didn't even know that.
yeah. So like there's automation tools. They used to be Chrome extensions. Now they're all cloud based. And they connect into your usually Sales Navigator account. You need Sales Navigator for it. And they're sending connection requests. They're sending those crap messages. Sometimes there's a message cadence. So like you might say, please stop messaging me. And then you'll get the next one that's like, thank you so much for connecting.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it? All right. So I got one of those, and I wrote back. And so Brent built my house in Charlotte, Brent Zandy. And I got this completely form letter thing from him in my email. So I emailed back saying, Brent, clearly this is a form letter. Just wanted to say, hey man, haven't talked to you in a while. I'm going to be in Charlotte next month. If you get this, or whoever gets this, passes this along to Brent, you nameless bot, you may call me. And he emailed back, it really was me, Chris. I'd love to see you. So it's hilarious.
That's hilarious. That's really funny.
I got him on that one.
So they're not supposed to be able to do like an automate, because I swear I'm getting LinkedIn requests from there's people that there's just no plausible reason that they would request.
Yeah. So those are probably automation tools.
And so LinkedIn's actually
That's
trying to
Yes.
weed them out.
yeah. So like that is breaking the user agreement. Now there's all these like god awful AI commenting tools out there.
Oh God.
And those are really, they're terrible.
Way off, right? And so we use AI summaries with this.
Oh, those are great.
for
Yeah.
our podcast. No, not even close, because it always starts out because we banter too much in the
Oh.
beginning, and the entire summary says Ellen and Chris are off to Lake Tahoe. And I'm like, well, all right, first of all, I did not take Alan. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he doesn't take me
Yeah,
anywhere.
and it was me, and that
AI.
was not the purpose of our podcast. And God, I hate this, but we're running out of time.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel, hit everybody up. How can they find you? You've been listening, guys. You've been hanging in there with us, walking, talking. Maybe you're on the truck. Check this out. You got to check this stuff out. Go.
So you can find me on LinkedIn. Again, Rachel Simon. Look for the curly red hair. My name is in all caps.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's
call.
another little thing.
Is it
Simon Hawkins.
SIMON or?
SIMON.
Okay.
My website's connectthedotsdigital.com. I've got lots of fun things on there, like You could download a profile checklist. That's always
Ooh.
helpful.
Free stuff, guys.
Free stuff.
From the
Um,
crazy red. You gotta have you could have such an awesome name with the red hair. You nail it.
I'm just easy to spot in a crowd.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Rachel Steinman, guys, check it out. LinkedIn. As you can tell, she may be a little more serious than we are. Alan.
She should have had more bourbon.
Okay. Maybe that's
Next
probably-
time.
All right. We're gonna load her up next time. Guys, go check this stuff out, but we can't let her go because we gotta ask those famous 4 questions, right?
Okay.
All right. What is your favorite book?
Oh,
When you
goodness.
recommend?
My favorite book. Oh, I mean, I'm not that big of a reader currently because my brain just doesn't have room for books at the moment.
Business book.
But can I share a podcast that I really like?
All right, hit it.
There you
Let's
I
go.
like that.
I'm really into the Mel Robbins podcast. She just has great episodes and there's always good business stuff and just life hacky stuff. And that's what I've been listening to lately.
Mel Robbins, fellow Michigander. That's the mother country, if you didn't know.
There you go.
You went there. You took the
I know the handy dandy map.
attaboy. Thank you. All right. Second one. What is the favorite feature of your home?
Oh gosh, I love my house. I've been in my house 21 years. So
Okay. Favorite part though.
my favorite part, I think, is that it is just feels like a home. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel overly I had a friend in high school whose house felt like a museum. You couldn't sit on any of the
Right.
furniture, right?
And that's kind of a modern thing right now. I mean, it's a really common, it's just this minimalism and you sit on a peg
Yeah.
and not look at anything. I hate
Yeah.
that.
So
I like clutter.
I just it feels homey. We did redecorated our living room because it was all ugly old collegey furniture, and it's just a very soothing comfortable room.
Can I get my
Living.
lazy boy back? That's all I want. My wife kicked out the lazy boy,
With
and
the
now
drink holder.
we're getting older,
Yeah.
and with the side fridge.
That's right.
So,
Like what Chandler and Joey had, right?
right?
Oh,
Exactly.
nice call.
Oh, Friends reference. Rachel for the win. That was awesome. All right. We're a big into customer service because we're kind of customer service freaks. Thank you. What is a customer service pet peeve of yours when you're out there and you are the customer?
Having to do the Xfinity chatbot to try. Sorry, I'm gonna shit talk Xfinity because I'm mad at them.
I'm so happy that she said heck, and cool, and then she finally goes, I'm gonna shit talk to Xfinity.
All right.
Let's
You
go.
just unleashed Chris.
I know, I love it.
I
30
just
minutes of
wanted
You
it.
Comcast,
I
didn't you?
just wanted my Bally Sports back because it was back.
Amen, sister.
And
Oh my
then-
God. I
Why do
canceled
I
that
even
because of
have to
this.
have Valley Sports? It drives me nuts. And I can't see
said I
the
wanna watch
Braves.
the
I wanna
Braves.
watch the
I
Braves
just want
too.
to watch a
I
freaking
don't
Braves
want to
game.
pay for
Oh my
freaking
God.
Valley Sports.
You have unleashed a holy hell that they have no idea what just happened.
Explain to me how you take it away from my current package and then it comes back, but now I have to spend $50 more a month to get it because it's only in their high level. And they're like,
And
"You
I
can
said,
get-"
oh, hell no.
I
I'm
said,
out,
I-
bro.
yeah. So I was on,
You got Comcast.
I got Comcast.
The Braves didn't become America's team by being hard to watch.
They're
How about-
impossible to
how
watch,
about
but they're
with-
terrible to watch right now. So
Oh, don't do that right now. I have season tickets. This is a bad thing. But it was easier to watch the
You have
Braves
season
in
tickets?
1994.
I haven't gone to a game
I've taken you to a mini game.
this,
have given you-
this year.
Let's
All right, well, off air.
off air, please.
Pause. Parking lot.
Hey, Michael, cancel that. Hey, Alan, what the hell are you talking about? Can we go? We're
It's been a while since
Are
I've
we
been
muted for a
flipped
second?
off on air.
Right?
There it is.
All right.
You got a
Hey,
good middle finger.
thank
It's
you.
statuesque.
it
it goes
should
back
not
to-
be this difficult to watch a baseball game.
It should not.
Period.
I mean, come on.
So
It's-
I was
It's
on
asinine.
my phone for 2.5 hours on Thursday night trying to talk to Comcast, and this is what pissed me off, is I got transferred 4 times
Mm.
and the whole conversation started all over again. And they're like, "How can I help you?" I'm like, "Are you for real?" So anyway,
And
that's my pet peeve.
And I think we found a pet peeve nerve. I think
Yeah, we did push a button there.
That's a good one.
It's
You know
just
what?
not
That is
fun.
not generic. That was very real.
Yeah,
That was authentic.
that was not
Be
AI
authentic.
generated.
Right. Let's be authentic on LinkedIn. That's what Rachel.
Oh,
did.
I actually did a post when they took Bally away about this is how do you how do you try to build customer base by making it more difficult for your fans to actually consume your content. Like,
Hey,
it doesn't
Matt.
make any sense.
Oh, this is the big one. Oh, actually,
It's becoming a speakeasy.
I think
of
we had a fourth
sports.
question. Oh, we have one. All right, you ready?
What's the last question?
This is the best. My favorite. Being in the home service industry, I love DIY nightmare stories. And we love fire. We love bees, pestilence, pests,
Blood.
water, blood. We used to say death until we got that. And we're like,
Yeah,
we're going
oops,
to cancel
yeah.
that.
What's the craziest
What's your
story?
craziest DIY story?
And it's not somebody else, it's you.
Oh, us? Oh God, we don't do a lot of that stuff because we're just not good like that. So we bring people in to do stuff in our house. But can I share the story of like one of the most terrifying things I ever saw somebody doing?
Sure.
We had a hornet's nest, like up in the eaves on the second floor, and
How big was it?
I don't really big enough.
Okay.
Big enough, Alan.
I
Big
didn't
enough.
really investigate.
We're in the South, and I can promise you, the South, it's big enough.
Yeah.
Think as big as a pumpkin.
Yeah, so big enough. And so the pest guy comes out with the big gold ladder and goes up there. And I don't think that he was well protected. And my husband and I are like watching out the window and we like, what's going to happen? And he starts spraying it. And then he's like swatting things. I was like, if this guy falls off the ladder, are we like responsible?
Well, as a matter of fact, funny enough, you should say that. Yes, you would be, unless he was with a company that has workers' compensation.
There you go.
So that's why you go with
So
companies
when
like mine.
When you look up a pest control company for bees and you want 25 years of experience,
Maybe.
not some dumbass who just decided to
Go up a
go
ladder.
up a ladder
No,
and spray rain on it
I
in the
want to
middle of the
know
day.
that they're going to be background checked, fully insured. I want to know that they're going to take care of my bees the right way. The fact they've been doing it for 6 months, probably not. However, 16 years does not win. People just didn't care that they've been doing it for 16 years. They definitely care this.
So
Not my
we're
first
gonna,
rodeo.
we're gonna argue this on
Yeah.
future episodes.
Maybe they
know what?
care about Google reviews.
Which, by the way,
If you've
closing in
been
on 1,000.
that's
There
really,
you go.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's
890.
that would be a
That's
top
cool.
crazy story
That's a good
for
one.
sure.
I like it.
I
Don't just
that-
climb a ladder and spray a can of Raid.
and call yourself a pest control guy. All right, everybody, that's it right there. You want gold nuggets? You got them. Rachel has brought the heat, and she got really authentic at the end. Number one, Bally's, Comcast, get your shit straight. All right.
We
I mean,
hate you.
We all hate you, especially as Braves fan. Although our product right now is not what we want to see.
I would still watch it.
I would. I have been. I mean, I've been a glutton, although it's the Olympics, so I'm using that as my excuse. We're going to do that. But everybody, keep going up that mountaintop. You got to get better each and every day. 1% better each and every day of what we're trying to get done. You listen to this podcast, you're one of those people. We're going to make this happen. Let's get out of here. Go make it happen.
Cheers, everybody.